lovelies, how are you doing today? I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. So today we are going to be talking about my UNCSA portfolio. Whoop whoop. I know that a lot of y'all have been asking for a video talking through my portfolio and showing what I submitted in order to be accepted into UNCSA on a full ride. And so yeah, I'm going to be taking you guys through all of that, giving you some commentary, giving you some descriptions about the process. And yes, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed it. And yeah, let's get to it. Alright, so the way that I formatted my submissions into my portfolio was I mainly started with the items that I was most proud of first and the projects that I felt like really represented my hard work and my artistic process. So the first thing I think I submitted, because I was trying to find my submitted portfolio, but it got removed from the application from last year, which is understandable, but I was like, damn. So I'm gonna try to remember the order of how I put things exactly. So the first thing I put into my portfolio was this project. It was completed during my junior year of high school, I think, and it was during my props and paint class, I think. So the way my high school was formatted, it was a magnet high school, so there were like different programs, and I was in the performing arts program, and so I was part of the design production program. I was part of the design production program, and we had like a variety of classes to have different skills built and all that good stuff. And so this was probably my all-time favorite project that I did in high school that I was super proud of, and I feel like that was really what made my portfolio stand out, along with a few other projects as well. So this is Shield. It's like about 2 feet diameter, so it's pretty big. And so the project itself was to find an image of a shield online and then try to replicate that with materials that we found around the shop. And so it's constructed out of wood and different varieties of like foam and carved to the T, hand painted and everything. This project was so difficult, but in the end I'm very happy with how it turned out, and even though it was very challenging, I learned a heck of a lot building it. So I'll include a few progress photos here as well so you can see the buildup of the process. And yeah, and also for each of the submissions into your portfolio, you have the option to put in a description. So I highly recommend that you, if you are applying and submitting your own portfolio for design and production, that you put in your own description, talk about the measurements, so they have an idea of how big it is, that each of your projects. Because if you see the shield, it could be like this tiny, or it could be like huge. So it's important to put your dimensions. And in the description, I just talked about how I came about creating it. I talked about the steps, not too much, not too wordy, just the right amount, like a paragraph or so. And yeah. Next is this project that I also completed in the props and paint class. It was during the paint portion of the class. And so it's about 3 feet by 3 feet, I think. Yeah, 3 feet by 3 feet. And it was a similar project to the shield, where we had to find photo online and exactly replicate it onto a large canvas painting. And so this one was also very tough, so I described the process of how I had to match the colors exactly by mixing the different paints together to get the colors exactly right, get the textures right in the background. And yes, this one was also a very interesting project. And then my most favorite projects that I completed that were first in the order, that were specifically for productions, was working as a prop master for my school's show, Peter and the Starcatcher. That was the first time that I was actually a props master on the show, so I was in charge of coordinating everything, figuring out the concept, discussing with the directors, figuring out all of that in the leadership position. So that was a very fun thing to do, and it's probably my most favorite experience I've had working in props so far. So this was a pineapple that was used in the show. It had to be cut apart and put together like very easily over and over again. So the entire pineapple is made out of foam, like very thick foam, and I like stack it together and carve it into the shape of the pineapple, make it look as realistic as possible, hand paint it, make little carvings into it, and then I cut it in half and put magnets in the middle in order for it to come back and forth together in one piece. And so this was also a piece that a lot of my college interview people were impressed by, because that is like a lot of my craftsmanship and demonstrates how I get from concept to a final product. So I feel like when you are submitting your portfolio, it's very important to have a very diverse range of items. So I had a lot of personal art as well, which I'll get to that. A lot of class projects that were relevant to design production, a lot of stuff I worked on in productions as well. For example, in addition to this photo, I also included my props list that was like in a PDF file into the submission form, just to get a good idea of what I did, because that props list was a lot and I wanted to show my work. So yeah, so after I submitted like the main iconic pieces of my portfolio, and then I started going down the list of what's like less and less relevant and also less important to me in my props field. So next I submitted this photo of a production I worked on also in my high school called Our Town, and I was the assistant I was the assistant props master for this show. And so I was helping the prop master with different things, but because Our Town isn't really like that props heavy, like the play itself, I was just observing from the side what was going on. So yeah, that was that show. Actually, the next show I worked on was Mamma Mia. This was during my senior year of high school, and I was also props master for that show, which is very fun, very chaotic, I will say, because it's a big musical. But this was just a photo from the production, and I hand painted and made the diary for Sophie, I think that's her name. With these photos, each of these, like at my high school, each production, there was a photographer that took photos of the sets and the props, the costumes, lighting, sound, everything. Well, not sound, but all the aspects of the show, so that we can use it in our portfolio. So I'm not sure if all high schools do this, because I don't know. But if not, if your high school doesn't take photos of the production, then I recommend you take your own photos of props you've made or different projects that you've done, and just make sure they're very high quality, that they are in front of like a plain background, and that like you really see the craftsmanship. And also include progress photos, because that's a big thing I've always been taught, is take progress photos along the way for your projects. And also at my school, we had every year this festival called New Works Festival, which was like student generated. It was very independent, so like students wrote the plays, directed, cast, make everything for it. So it was a very fun experience, and I feel like that was probably the most similar to being in props in college, because at UNCSA it's like mainly student run, and of course the professors are there to like supervise, but like the leadership positions are all students. And so this was definitely very helpful for me to build that experience of talking with my peers, but also being professional. And yeah, so for this show I was the props designer. As a designer. I was the props designer for the show, and so what that meant was I was pretty much coming up with the concepts alongside the director, because the director pretty much has the main idea of what they wanted to look like, but I still had a bit of leeway in constructing the idea of the prop. And so this one was, I think she's like holding a rifle or a gun or something. So that was actually very important experience for me to learn about how to deal with weapons in a performance industry, because you have to make sure that it's like okayed by the school, that like nobody's gonna see it, that's handled very professionally and everything's okay. Like it wasn't like gonna shoot or anything, it was fake, but still it was very important because it's in a school, so you don't want people to take things a different way. So that was very interesting for me. I thought that was a good photo to include, because, and also that was like the only photo of the props that was taken, so I was like, okay then. And so after I finished submitting all the photos that were specifically related to props, then I started to put in more content that was diverse, and it showed that I have like a range of skills. So at my school we were able to do like different positions. So I was electrician, stitcher, carpenter, yeah, those 3 positions like rotated. And so I'll just include a few photos here because they don't really matter to me that much, but like they weren't really that much weight in my portfolio, I don't think, but I think it just showed a diverse array of things. I also wanted to say that with the photos that I'm showing for each of the productions, even though they're like the only ones that I submit to my portfolio, that doesn't mean that's like the only thing that I did, you know? I just wanted to say that because like with the pineapple, like with the pineapple, that definitely was not the only thing I did. But that was like the biggest project that was like the most important, I think, to the show, and that had the most of my like work into it. And then after those photos, I put in some more in-class projects that were different from props. And so I included some costume history projects because I took a class called Costume History, and I feel like this class was very good for building my artistic skills and really like my drawing skills as well. So we had different projects like every class where we had to draw costumes from different time periods, and so I'll put those there. So those drawings were probably my favorite ones. It was a cavalier man and a rococo woman, I think. So those were the ones I'm most proud of, definitely. And I feel like that shows also my drawing hand skills with that, because it's also very important in the props industry and in general in DMP. It's good to have a good artistic hand, and if you do, then show that. I also included a project from a design concepts class that I took where I was the costume designer for a show, not like an actual production, but the class, it was like you're given a play, design costume concept for it. So I included a whole like presentation board photo onto the website, and that pretty much showed the whole process from like my design statement to my sketches and doing like a costume swatch, like fabric swatches. And yeah, that one was also a big project that I was proud of as well. So those were the main DMP pieces that I included in my portfolio. And so yeah, and then next after that I put in a ton of my like personal art, because I thought that was very important to who I am as a creative, and it's very important to include your own personality and not just like school projects and such. So here are a couple of art pieces that I put into my portfolio with like descriptions, size, and how I came up with the piece. So I think the main ones I put in was like, it was Witch's Cup of Tea, which was like a watercolor piece, oil painting called Isolated, I think. And that was like the first oil painting I did, but I was like very proud of it. And a couple of other smaller watercolor pieces that I put in because I was very into watercolor at the time. Alright, so I think that is pretty much all the items that I put into my portfolio. I feel like I'm missing some things, but I'm pretty sure that was it. Sorry I didn't really know exactly what was in my portfolio because it got removed from my original application, but I do have a portfolio website that I will link in the description below if you want to learn more about what I put into my portfolio and just to get a better grasp of what's the best items to put as well. So I think the main thing about submitting a portfolio, even if it's not just for props, is just to make sure to have a diverse array of work that shows that you're capable of working in all different fields. You can do anything that your professor throws at you, that anybody throws at you. And yeah, it's important to know that your portfolio does have a good amount of weight in your application, because that's what they're mainly looking for, in my opinion, is that you have experience and that you're able to have an artistic craft ability, like hands-on kind of things. Okay, that is all for the video today. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions at all about what was in my portfolio, maybe like why I chose certain things or what to leave out of your portfolio. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this video, and I will be making more. I typically make art videos on this channel, but as school comes back again, I will be making more school-related videos as well at UNCSA. Let me know if you have any future videos that you're interested in seeing. Be sure to give a like on the video as well if you enjoyed it. If you want to keep up with me on Instagram, follow me at Camomiles. It's my art Instagram. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time, and have a great day. I love you so much. Bye! Bye!